If your dog has recently started sleeping under your bed, you need to understand something. It's not trying to comfort you. It's not scared of a storm. It's not cold. It's hiding. And it's hiding from what's above you. This began in late February in a small town called Camber Ridge, Oregon. The kind of place where nothing big happens. Population under 1,000. A grocery store, a high school, and a lot of trees. Most people here know each other's dogs by name. That's what makes it worse. The first report came from a man named Caleb Mercer, 36 years old, who lived on the edge of town with his 4-year-old Belgian Malinois named Odin. Caleb was ex-military, worked nights as a dispatcher for a freight company, and lived a quiet, solitary life. Nothing strange until Odin, a once fearless working dog, started acting wrong. Caleb said it began with Odin refusing to sit on the couch. Then the dog stopped following him to the kitchen. Eventually, Odin wouldn't go anywhere after dark unless it was under the bed. Not on the bed, not beside it, under. He thought it was just stress. Maybe Odin was sick. Maybe there were raccoons in the attic. But Caleb noticed something else. Every night, precisely at 3:04 a.m., he would wake up. No alarm, no dreams, just an immediate, alert stillness, like something had nudged him awake from the inside. The room would be silent, but Odin would already be under the bed, trembling, his breathing shallow, his gaze fixed on the ceiling directly above the bed frame. Caleb never told anyone, but one night he stayed awake, just to see. That night, he turned off every light, laid down in silence, and waited. And at 3:04 a.m., he heard it. The sound wasn't loud. It wasn't even threatening at first. It was a shuffling, like someone dragging a burlap sack across plaster. But it wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from directly above him, through the ceiling, between the drywall and the attic insulation. Then a tap, then a second, softer tap, then breathing, slow, rhythmic, like something enormous was exhaling inches above his head. He turned on the light and grabbed his pistol, checked the attic with Odin by his side. Nothing, just insulation and dust. No footprints, no animals, no signs of intrusion. But when they came back down, the bed was shaking, not violently, just slightly, as if something large had just left it, as if something had been lying on top, and the pressure was still settling. That night, Odin refused to come out from under the bed. Caleb left a bowl of food on the floor and went to the couch. At 3:04 a.m., the hallway lights flickered, and the power went out. When Caleb came back to the bedroom with a flashlight, the bed was untouched, but Odin was now wedged underneath it, whimpering, his eyes glued to the ceiling. The next report came from Nina Caldwell, a 29-year-old elementary school teacher who had just moved into an older rental cabin at the northern edge of the Deschutes forest. She moved with her rescued greyhound, Loma, a skittish but gentle dog that had finally started to relax, until she didn't. Loma refused to sleep in her own bed. Instead, she would slither beneath Nina's low wooden frame and curl up tightly, tail tucked, eyes wide. At first, Nina thought it was just nerves, new place, smells, the creaking wood. But Loma kept doing it, every single night. Then came the scratching. It started soft, barely noticeable. At first, Nina thought it was mice, then squirrels, then something bigger. The ceiling in the bedroom, made of rough-hewn planks, would creak and groan like something was crawling across it in slow, purposeful loops, always at the same time, 3:01 a.m. She downloaded a motion sensor app and hooked up her phone on a makeshift stand pointing straight up. It wasn't a great setup, but it was enough. The first 3 nights, nothing. Just faint clicks, no visuals. But on the 4th night, the screen lit up at 3:03 a.m., and what it caught wasn't an animal. There was a flicker, like something had passed quickly across the ceiling camera's field of view. Then, frame by frame, a shape appeared. It was long, spindly, limbs that didn't bend, a body that didn't touch the ground, just hovered along the ceiling, dragging itself with the tips of fingers too long to be human. Its head lagged behind like it weighed too much for its neck, and just before it exited the frame, it turned. No eyes, no face, just orientation, as if it knew it was being watched, as if it wanted her to know. Nina didn't sleep that night, and she didn't stay the next. She spent the following 2 nights in her car, Loma curled tight in the passenger seat. When she returned home on the third day, her mattress had been flipped, and her closet door was open, something she swore she had shut before leaving. But most disturbing of all, there was a handprint on the ceiling, above the bed. Not human. 3 fingers, elongated, scorched into the wood like they'd burned their way through. These weren't isolated. They weren't coincidences. By the end of that week, we had 19 separate reports. Different cities, different breeds, all with the same pattern. Dogs crawling under beds, people hearing taps and breathing above their heads. The exact time, between 3 o'clock and 3:06 a.m., always above the bed, always when they were alone, and always when they were fully uncovered. That's a detail we didn't understand at first, but it came up over and over again. A woman in New Mexico described waking up with her foot uncovered, freezing cold. When she pulled the blanket back over, something whispered through the ceiling, too fast to catch, but unmistakably human-like. A college student in Vermont left his shoulder uncovered one night and woke to find a faint, blistering imprint of what looked like 3 long fingers across it. He thought it was sleep paralysis until his roommate played back the audio from their home security mic. At 3:02 a.m., a single sentence was caught. Not in English, not in any known language, but it said his name. We're not done yet. You need to know more. But before I continue, ask yourself, has your dog been sleeping under your bed lately? Has it started staring at the ceiling at night? Because if so, you've already been marked. They don't come through doors. That's what became clear after the 30th report. No broken windows, no forced entry, not a single security system triggered. Every victim had locked their homes. Some even barricaded their bedrooms. It made no difference, because they don't enter. They arrive from above. We received a frantic voice message from a man named Miles Danner, 42, living in a 5th-floor apartment in Spokane, Washington. No attic, no crawl space, concrete ceiling. He owned a border collie named Mira, quiet and obedient, until she began whining every night and scraping desperately at the underside of the bed. He tried locking her in the bathroom one night, annoyed with the noise. At 3:05 a.m., his neighbor reported hearing sobbing through the vent system, but Miles doesn't remember crying. He only remembers waking up and realizing his mattress had been shifted 3 inches from the wall. No footprints, no signs of a break-in, just 4 long gouges across the headboard, spaced far too wide to be made by hands. Mira somehow had escaped the bathroom and was found shivering beneath the bed, paws over her face. From every story, one thing became disturbingly consistent. The thing doesn't care about dogs. It doesn't touch them. It doesn't even see them. But it reacts to humans. Specifically, exposed human skin. One survivor, Trina Wu, told us she never would have believed it if she hadn't seen it herself. Her Jack Russell Pepper had been acting strangely all week, hiding under furniture, refusing to be left alone. Trina decided to camp out with Pepper on the floor, under a heavy quilt, hoping to ease her anxiety. She slept fully covered, bundled up in the center of her living room rug. The bedroom had become too still. At 3:02 a.m., she heard tapping, 3 knocks on the ceiling above the couch, then nothing. She stayed frozen. Pepper whimpered once but didn't move. Later, when she checked her phone's front camera, left recording overnight out of paranoia, she saw it. The blanket lifted. Not much. Less than 2 inches. Enough for something long, dark, and glistening to slip under and hover over her body. The only reason it didn't touch her, she swore, was because Pepper snapped at it and barked once, low and guttural. The thing retreated, vanished. Trina didn't even wake up. She only knew because the footage ended abruptly at 3:05 a.m., as if something had shut the phone off with purpose. We compiled 73 cases across 18 states. The stories differ in detail, but the timeline is identical. 2:41 a.m., soft noises from above. 2:57 a.m., ceiling pressure, often mistaken for settling wood. 3:01, 3:06 a.m., full manifestation, either visual, physical, or audio. Then silence, then morning. Except in 12 of those cases, the human never made it to morning. The rooms were undisturbed, beds still made, phones untouched, dogs left alone, often found hiding, staring upward, unwilling to move even for food. The final case we received wasn't a report. It was a live stream, or rather, the remnant of one. The man, Kyle Tran, was a content creator in Nevada running a small horror-themed channel. He thought the whole trend was viral storytelling, something to capitalize on. He set up an experiment. He'd sleep completely uncovered in bed at night, alone, with his dog Poppy locked in the kitchen. Cameras faced the ceiling, lights off, audio rolling. He streamed it on a Friday night. Thousands watched live as the room stayed still for over 2 hours. Then, around 3:03 a.m., the ceiling fan spun once, then again, then stopped. The video didn't glitch. It fractured, the frame bending inward as if being compressed from outside. Then came the tapping, 3 times, and the slow appearance of something curling down from the ceiling, like a shadow stretching wrong. Viewers commented furiously. Many thought it was fake, until Kyle sat up in bed groggy and looked around. Then, in a single frame, he looked straight at the ceiling, eyes wide, mouth open, frozen, and the stream cut. The footage was never archived. All that remains is a 17-second clip, screen recorded by one of his subscribers, showing Kyle whispering something before the stream died. 4 words. Why is it smiling? If your dog sleeps under your bed, don't coax it out. Don't pull it by the collar. Don't offer treats. Don't assume it's scared of storms. It's not. It's hiding from something you cannot see. And you are the reason it's hiding. Because the thing in your ceiling isn't here for your dog. It's here for the warmth of your skin, the back of your neck, the exposed ankle sticking out from the blanket, the breath leaving your lips as you exhale in sleep. We don't know what it is. We don't know where it came from. It doesn't speak. It doesn't leave prints. It doesn't break locks or open doors. It doesn't enter. It arrives. And once you notice it, once you hear the breathing above you, you've already been marked. So here's what you must do. Sleep low to the ground. Stay beneath heavy covers no matter how warm it gets. Don't leave your skin uncovered after 2:30 a.m. Let your dog hide. Let it stay with you. And no matter what you hear, do not look up, because if you see it, it sees you back. And if it sees you, you are no longer alone.